Please. Go ahead. You, right here. It's fine. Right there. Okay.
Mr. President, thank you. The backbenchers have been waiting for far too long. I'm Richa from Business Line, and we would like to take you to your today's meetings. Before coming to India, you said trade deal will be later, but of course sometime soon. In the morning, you spoke about energy security and energy deal, and you are already the 5th supplier to our country. You said other sources also. We would like you to elaborate on that. When we are talking energy security and energy deal, what are we looking at? Yeah. And is nuclear happening?
So we talked about many things, many things. We talked about Iran, we talked about Iraq, we talked about, we were together for 2 days. I'm going to be with Prime Minister Modi tonight for a state dinner at 7 o'clock. It starts at 7, I believe. And we talked about exactly all of the things that you're talking about. We also talked about tariffs, because as you know, India is probably the highest tariff nation in the world, meaning charging tariffs to outsiders. And I said, we have to stop that. We have to stop it, at least as it pertains to the United States. And I think we're understanding each other. With China, we worked a deal, and we worked it because of the tariffs. And I was able to leave the tariffs on. That will take care of phase 2. We still have 25% on $250 billion. But in the meantime, we're working with China very much on the virus. We feel that's something. And I have to tell, I spoke to President Xi the other day. He is so committed to solving that problem. He is working very hard. He is very capable. The country is very capable. And it snuck up on him, but I think he's going to do well. Now you see it's going to South Korea, and it's going to Italy, and it's going to other places. But I spoke to all of them. They're all working very hard on it. The United States, because of an early decision I made a decision, I believe it was the first time it's ever been done. We closed the country to certain areas, as you know. And I was criticized for that decision. Now they're saying it was a good decision. I think it was a good decision because we have very few people. And you can add to it a few people that we took in because they were Americans. I mean, what are we going to do? And they were almost in between countries where people weren't going to take them, and they're Americans. But they're fully quarantined. They call it fully quarantined. So, we did the right thing. If you were out there, if you were an American and you refused to have any help from your country, these were wonderful people. It wasn't their fault. So, but we're really down to probably 10. Most of the people are outside of danger right now. But we've had a very strict line on the people that would take in the areas from which we take. And I did it very early. It's never done before, and I did it early. So I think it was a good decision as it turned out. Yeah, please.
Just wanted to follow up on my colleague's question about Russian interference. Can you pledge to the American people that you will not accept any foreign assistance in the upcoming election? And on this idea of a purge in your administration, there was recently the departure of your acting DNI, Joseph McGuire. You replaced him with your ambassador to Germany, Rick Grinnell. Some of your critics have pointed out that Ambassador Grinnell has no intelligence experience. How can you justify to the American people having an acting DNI with no intelligence experience?
Okay, first of all, I want no help from any country, and I haven't been given help from any country. And if you see what CNN, your wonderful network, said, I guess they apologized in a way for, didn't they apologize for the fact that they said certain things that weren't true? Tell me, what was their apology yesterday? What did they say?
Mr. President, I think our record on delivering the truth is a lot better than yours sometimes, if you don't mind me saying.
Let me tell you about your record. Your record is so bad you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You have probably
I'm
the
not
worst
ashamed
record,
of anything, and our
you probably have the
organization
worst
is not
record in
ashamed,
the
sir.
history of broadcasting. As far as McGuire is concerned, he's a terrific guy, but on March 11th his time ended anyway, so his time came up. So we would have had to, by statute, we would have had to change him anyway. So the
Will your new DNI have experience in the intelligence field?
Yes. In fact, we're talking to 5 different people right now. I think all people that you know, all people that you respect, and I'll make a decision probably over the next week to 2 weeks. We have some very good people. But Joe McGuire is a very excellent guy. He's a very good man. And his time was March 11th. I believe it was March 11th where he would have had to leave.
Was he
But we
forced
are
out
going-
because he wasn't sufficiently loyal to you?
No, not at all. Not at all. He was pushed out because, frankly, he wasn't pushed out. He would have had to get out. On March 11th, he would have had to leave. But we're going to be making a decision on D&I very shortly.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Mr. President,
Well, that's not nice. Yeah, let
let's
her
go-
do it.
let's go one
I
by
know,
one.
but you ripped the mic out of her hand. You can't do that.
So rude.
Boy, that wasn't very nice. He's...
President Trump, I hope you're having a good visit here in India. I'm Ruchi Bhatia from ET Now. We have heard from Prime Minister Modi as well as you on a long impending trade deal. It's still not happened. Even today we heard both you and him talking about how in future there is going to be one. Have you been able to figure out the kind of differences that were there
Yeah, we
earlier,
know the
especially on data localization? That has been one of the sticky points.
Sure. We know the problems. I know the problems. Previous administrations had no clue. They didn't know the problems. I know the problems. We're being charged large amounts of tariffs, and can't do that. Can't do that. And so they understand that that's where I am, and if they want to deal with us, and they will, they're going to, just like China. Everybody said you'll never make a deal with China. I made a deal with China. It's a great deal. They're going to buy $250 billion worth of product, and that's only a piece of the deal. It's a large piece. It's probably 40 to 50%, but it's an incredible deal. In addition to that, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs that we can now use for phase two, because they want to get rid of the 25%. So we have the 25%, they want to get rid of it. Well, with India, India is, I think, the highest, again, I said it before, but the highest tariff when you deal with India. Harley Davidson has to pay tremendous tariffs when they send motorcycles in here. When India sends motorcycles into the U.S., there's virtually no tariff. For the most part, there is absolutely no tariff. So I just said that's unfair, and we're working it out. We're working it out. Go ahead.
Good evening, President.
I think we'll win that one easily. We're working on that, yeah. We're working on that, yeah.
Good evening, President. This is on
It's
Rock
not a fair
Monitor.
situation when one company is paying 100% in the case of numerous companies, not just Harley, but where they're paying tremendous. And actually, tariffs were raised not too long ago. And we also did something. There was a form of rent control that was, if you put it in a different sense, it was given to India, and we terminated that. You know that. We terminated that. No, we're talking. We have great discussions. Look, I can't lose this. I can't lose it. You know why? I'll never lose it. It's too easy, because I want reciprocal. It has to be reciprocal. And the money you're talking about is major, but the United States has to be treated fairly. And India understands that. The relationship is outstanding, but India understands that. We've had a tremendous deficit for many, many years with India, with everybody, you know, with, frankly, so many different countries. We've had a massive, massive deficit, but a large deficit, $30 billion with India. It's now down to $24 billion because of what we've been doing, but still, that's too high. We shouldn't have a $24 billion deficit. With other countries, we have more than that. Japan, we're doing now $40 billion is coming in. A lot of very good deals are being made, and they'll be kicking in toward the end of the year. I would say if the deal happens with India, it will be toward the end of the deal. And if it doesn't happen, we'll do something else. It'll be very satisfactory. It'll be very good. Go ahead. Who else?
President, my question is that you said at the time of the Article 370 abrogation that you would like to mediate in Kashmir, but India rejected it.
No,
What is your my question is something different.
Wait. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that. I just said Kashmir, obviously, there's a big problem between Pakistan and India. And I think they're going to work out their problem, but I will say they've been doing it for a long time.
Okay, my question is
problem's
something
been there
different at the
for a long
moment. What is your position at the moment on India's Citizen Amendment Act at the moment?
I don't want to discuss that. I want to leave that to India, and hopefully they're going to make the right decision for the people. That's really up to India.